The Harder They Fall is that movie that's spoken about in a barbershop. The Harder They Fall is the barber with the clippers going, know what Hollywood should do? Is make a movie. The stars like Idris Elba, Stanfield.
Yeah.
Eyes on Leaf, like, yo, man, you're going too low.
Congratulations on the film. This is your first film where you're directing. It's the first full-length feature film that you're directing. So what was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was amazing, you know, being my debut movie. And then us shooting in the first worldwide pandemic in something like 102 years. It was the craziest, most exhilarating, thrill, scary, danger ride I've ever been upon. It was crazy, but it was awesome. I don't, you know, when I look at the film, I'm like, wow, how did we do that in a pandemic? But you know, we did. For me, it being my first feature, I think prepped me and was enabled me to take on all the scares because I'd never done it before. So it was just like, okay, this is the rules of filmmaking. It's like learning to drive in a Bugatti. If you can't drive, it doesn't matter whether it's a Mini Cooper or Lamborghini Diablo. Just sit me down. Okay, tell me what I have to do. All right, let me at it.
It's funny that you mentioned that because obviously with directing, there's so many challenges. So what was the biggest challenge for you directing your first full-length feature film?
The biggest challenge, bro, was I had to wear a mask, I had to wear goggles, and I had to keep 6 feet away from the actors at all times. Yeah. This is crazy. I'm an excitable individual. I have mad energy. That's how I got the movie greenlit in the first place. I'm like, and this is what we have to do. But all of a sudden, it's almost like you have to move like an astronaut in an astronaut's uniform. That was the biggest challenge for me, and just getting used to those parameters set by this worldwide killer disease that was taking over the planet. That was the biggest challenge. The rest of it was more fun, if anything, than anything.
Oh, of course, I definitely understand that. And you directed short films in the past. I know you directed a short western film in 2013. So was something like The Harder They Fall a goal for you?
Yeah, the whole point of me doing that the short film, I actually directed in 2012. They Die by Dawn with Michael K. Williams and everyone.
Okay.
Was that there are these feature length. The whole point of that was just to let people know that these people existed in that time. I self-funded. I didn't release it commercially. I just wanted to let people know that there was people of color that existed in the Old West, and I would tour with it theatrically. But the whole point was to one day make features where I can explore those themes and those tropes and broaden the scope that we were given just growing up about the Old West and the portrayals of people of color and women and stuff.
Of course. And along with you directing, JayZ is actually a producer. So what was it like collaborating with him?
Collaborating with Jay is like breathing. There's no area artistically that I venture where he is not already acutely and intimately fluent in.
Yeah.
This dude speaks every artistic language you can come up with: film, music, arts, like everything. So collaborating with Jay, it was super fun and really awesome in that the way he would tell you things story-wise. Like I may be stuck on a particular story point. Like I'll have the guy not want to shoot someone in the back, but why doesn't he want to shoot this guy in the back? Why is he savoring it? Why do we savor that moment and talk? Why doesn't the villain ever just kill Bond when he has him immediately first? Why is there this long? And Jay would do something like, look, the reason why you can't do that is because, okay, in Brooklyn, and he'll tell me this story about the guy rolling up on him and the guy drawing the moment out, and a true story, documented stories of someone shooting at him 3 times at close range and missing, him drawing the gun. As he said, this is not a movie. You draw the gun, but you're in the line of fire and you drop the gun. He'll be telling me about all of these real things that sometimes will give me the psychological workings of a gunslinger in this particular tale. It's awesome the way he dives into the story plot points and stuff, and we kick it back and forth.
Of course. And, it's funny because Western movies, they've been a part of American culture for years and years and years. So have you always been a fan of Western films? And if so, what are some of your favorites?
I've been a fan of Westerns since I literally was born. They were always on in the background. I'm a super fan of cinema, but Westerns were always my favorite genre. I think obviously the Sergio Leone Westerns. Incidentally, my favorite Western of Sergio Leone's is For Few Dollars More, the second in his Eastwood trilogy. Then there's a film called Il Gran Silencio by Sergio Corbucci, and it has a black guy in it. It's one of the first Westerns where the black guy's in it, and there's no reference to his color. And it has one of the most uncompromising endings I've ever seen in the history of cinema. And then the movie just ends. You're like, no way, that can't happen. Like the Italians, the way they approached story, camera, and music was absolutely revolutionary. I implore everyone to watch Il Gran Silencio, the great silence, and see how that movie ends. When it gets to the ending, you're like, no way, no, I will not accept that. And no way, really? And then the credits start rolling. That movie, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, with Lee Marvin, James Stewart, John Wayne, a young Lee Van Cleef, Strother Martin, all of these great actors. The Big Country. I love all of them. It's hard for me to pick out a favorite of all time, but one Western I always go back to is For Few Dollars More, because that film is literally, it's almost as if Sergio Leone's mission was swag. What are you going to do for this swag?
Yeah.
Okay, how are you going to swag? Just swag from front to back. It's just a wicked film, and pacey.
Absolutely. And with The Harder They Fall, it comes with an all-star cast. I just talked to Jonathan Majors. There's Idris Elba, Regina King. It's just an amazing cast. So what was it like working with all of them?
Working with Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Danielle Deadwyler, Eddie Gathie, R.J., The Black God, Kyla, Dion Cole, all of these people, Delroy Lindo. It was amazing beyond words. Regina King had just shot, she was in post-production of One Night in Miami. So she had just shot her debut feature film. And was giving me all of these tips the entire time we were filming, just giving me tips on the production, what to look out for. But she's directed a great deal in her career, like a great deal of TV and stuff. So she's giving me just all of these tips and production pointers. And Idris Elba, who a few years ago directed his debut feature film Yardie, and he would be checking on me in the evening, and we'll be making music. And then Jonathan Majors, he turned the whole environment, our living environment, into the Old West. He was like he was Daniel Day-Lewis. He changed all the cutlery in my house. So I was literally living a cowboy lifestyle as he was. It was just wicked, man, from front to back. Working with those guys was a dream. Lakeith Stanfield and the conversations him and I would have about the soul and the motivations of his character. It was amazing. It was amazing, like beyond belief. It was exactly what you'd want it to be and more.
Of course. I can definitely see that. And the last question for me before I let you go is, obviously the movie looks great and I think it will do well once it's released worldwide, but why should moviegoers see The Harder They Fall?
The reason why moviegoers should see The Harder They Fall is simple. The Harder They Fall, Brian, is the movie that should not exist. The Harder They Fall is that movie that's spoken about in a barbershop. The Harder They Fall is the barber with the clippers going, know what Hollywood should do? Is make a movie. the stars like Idris Elba, Stanfield,
Yeah.
guys underneath like, yo, man, you're going too low. The other guys on the other chair, like, it would never happen, no. And then the other guy, there's always someone in the barbershop smoking.
Oh yeah,
he'll be smoking because it's smelling up the place, like, and he's blowing the head. It should be a Western. They should use all real characters. Yeah, but they'll never do it though. He's a skeptic. He's like Doubting Thomas. They'll never do it though. That's why Hollywood lame, man. They never do what they supposed to do. But one day somebody gonna come along. He gonna do it. Trust me, he gonna do it. And that person is me. I came along. Now we got The Harder They Fall with Bill Pickett, Rufus Buck, all of these Black superheroes from the Old West that we never seen portrayed on screen, all in one place and one time, swagging out women. Regina King, aka Trudy Smith. Where's your boss? My boss. Clearly, you don't know me. Where you gonna get that movie? I'm sorry, fam. So excited. Movie.
Yeah.
Hard. That's why you should see The Harder They Fall. And also, Jeymes did it.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Again, congratulations on the movie. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian, man. Peace to the gut.